There was recently a poll done by an organization known as America First Policies. Now, by the name, you can probably already tell that this is a pro-Trump organization. And so they specifically spoke to Trump supporters to see how they feel about Trump's policies and what they would like to see in America in the future. And even though the questions were leading, a pretty significant portion of these Trump voters were actually in favor of socialist policies, or leftist policies, I should be clear. So Vice covered this and they wrote, using strongly leading language, a question about immigration, asked respondents if they supported open borders. A question on healthcare asked people whether they would prefer getting rid of fraud and waste in the system to create a whole new healthcare system. The poll actually found that people were more in favor of Republican positions than leftist policies. So that's to be expected. These are leading questions, they're framing it in a certain way. But even so, here's what the polling found. 19% of these voters, again, Trump supporters, wanted socialism. 25% of self-identified Trump supporters wanted to abolish ICE. Okay, so let's stop right there. I'm a little worried that they mixed up ICE with ISIS. Like, I don't know, like I can't believe that 25% of Trump supporters want to abolish ICE. That's outrageous.
That's, you know what, that is a really good, observation because I wouldn't have thought about it, but yeah.
ICE and ISIS, it sounds the same. I don't know, I mean, I'd want to poll them again, but based on this, 25% of them would want to get rid of ICE. While 24% thought Medicare should be expanded to everyone. So the Medicare part of this was not that surprising to me, because Medicare is a very popular program. And when Trump was campaigning, he said over and over again that he wanted to protect Medicare, that he wanted to expand Medicare. In fact, he would go after Democrats and argue that Democrats want to cut Medicare. So it doesn't surprise me that his voters, a sizable portion of them at least, would want to expand the program.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that a lot of people see the value in having their own health coverage, and that's something that hits them directly, and they feel that impact so immediate. And so I think that they understand that we need that value, and so that they're okay in going that direction. But it's one of those, it's interesting how we'll get there.
I just think that politics, activism have gone mainstream, and everyone has a political point of view, and everyone is an activist, and quite a few people don't know what they're talking about. They don't have the information. They get their information from, whatever links they see on the internet. They go to Twitter, or they go to Fox News. Things are slanted, and it makes me a little bit nervous because those are the people who vote, right?
Yeah.
And so they're not voting on issues. I've always been registered independent, and I've always voted collectively in the best interest of my people, women, and I just worry that these people have a voice,
Well, I'm glad you brought up media, because if you focus specifically on policy, I feel like Americans are way more united rather than divided, right?
Absolutely.
So there are, of course, the more divisive issues, maybe immigration is an example of that. But when it comes to economic issues, when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to Social Security, when it comes to wages, I think that those are the issues that really do unite us. I think that all of us, at the end of the day, regardless of what our perspectives are on policy, we all want the same things, right? We all want to prosper, we want to thrive, we want to be able to take care of our families. And we want peace. And there might be disagreements on how we get there, but I think the way that the media focuses on the horse race, and the way it focuses on the drama, and the way it focuses on our differences, unfortunately has led to this insane divide that we have.
Oh, absolutely.
And then there's also the role corporations play. They don't want all of these policies. They hate these policies. And so I think if we genuinely want the country to do better, the media as a whole needs to take a step back and be like, okay, maybe we don't talk about all of the nonsense and garbage, and maybe we focus on what the voters actually want and how similar they can be. Because anytime you hear them talking about Medicare for all, they think it's a joke.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, you're absolutely right in terms of the role the media plays in shaping people's viewpoints and actually just misinforming people. and just how we see that play out in terms of the policies and the route we take. And I've actually given this a lot of thought. I think just being a lawyer and just finding this stuff really crazy fascinating because, we got that First Amendment protection and protecting the media and letting it be an independent body so it can be a check on the government. But when it starts to essentially have an incestuous relationship with it and that misleads the people, who's going to be a check on the media? Yep. And so part of me wonders, does there need to be an independent government agency? How does this work? Do you need to have some kind of UN set up for media on a worldwide basis that, issues sanctions or does all sorts of things? Because we're almost at a point now where, we do have these media conglomerates that are owned by companies and, everybody's got an agenda. And if they can use whatever arms or outlets they can to shift that agenda in a certain direction, we can have a lot of problems, and we happen to.
Yeah, we do have a lot of problems. But then there's also this massive disagreement regarding what to do about things like fake news, for instance, or conspiracy theorists, right? I mean, just look at how controversial the whole Alex Jones thing was. I mean, there was a lot of disagreement when it came to all these online platforms getting rid of Alex Jones or banning him. By the way, after he had been warned for years, over and over again, he just kept violating terms of service. But people think this is censorship. He should be able to, spread lies, propaganda, conspiracy theories as much as he wants. Because if these platforms get rid of him, then maybe they'll come for me later. And so I don't know what the answer is. I do know that I like the fact that Alex Jones was banned, and I'll never back down from that. I think that he was beyond toxic and he was actually leading or inciting violence toward very specific people. And you can't have that. That's not even protected speech under our Constitution.
But I will say this, I do think that I try my best to use my voice for the good side. And one thing that I always tell young people is when you get your information from various places, and that way you can make an intelligent decision, an assessment about what you're reading about. Because if you keep going to the same place, the same time, then you're just being programmed and you're a robot. So that's one thing you can do as an individual, because this feels helpless and hopeless sometimes, is really inform yourself so that when you're passionate about something, you're also informed and know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
On the go? Don't worry, we got you covered. You can still listen to TYT at our new podcast network. Find us on Apple Podcasts, the Google Play Store, or at tyt.com/podcast.